Today's video is about one of the biggest mistakes students make when emailing professors for MS or PhD opportunities. Many students think the hardest part is finding professors or writing their CV. But in reality, the biggest problem happens before any of that. In the first email they send, professors receive hundreds of emails every week from prospective students. Because of that, they quickly develop ways to identify which emails are serious and which ones are just mass emails. And unfortunately, many students unknowingly make mistakes that cause their email to be ignored immediately. So today I want to talk about 3 very common mistakes students make when emailing professors, and how you can avoid them. The first mistake is sending generic or copy-paste emails. Many emails look something like this. Dear Professor, I am currently studying this subject at this university. I am very interested in your research and would like to work with you. Please see my attached CV and transcripts. The problem is that this email could literally be sent to 100 professors without changing anything. Professors can easily recognize these types of emails. When they see something generic like that, they often assume it's part of a mass mailing and they simply move on to the next email. What professors actually want to know is something much more specific. Why are you interested in working with me in particular? What makes your background, skills, or interests different from the hundreds of other applicants they receive emails from? If your email doesn't answer that question, it's very difficult for a professor to feel motivated to respond. The second common mistake is not actually reading the professor's research before sending the email. Many students try to show interest by mentioning a paper in the email, but surprisingly, professors say that 40 to 50% of the time, the paper mentioned isn't even written by them. Sometimes students just copy a citation from Google Scholar without checking carefully. This is a huge red flag. It tells the professor that the student didn't actually spend time understanding their research, and if a professor feels the email is careless, they are very unlikely to respond. Instead, a much better strategy is to read 1 or 2 of the professor's recent papers. Focus especially on papers where the professor is the first author or the last author, because those usually represent their main research direction. Then, in your email, you can briefly mention something specific you found interesting and explain how it connects to your own interests. That immediately shows that your email is not generic. It's thoughtful and personalized. The third mistake is writing very long emails. Some students write emails that are almost like essays. They describe their entire academic history, their life story, their dreams, and their motivations for pursuing a PhD. But professors are extremely busy. If an email is long and unfocused, it can actually create the impression that the student doesn't yet have clear research goals. A strong email should usually be short, clear, and focused. Think of it as a short introduction, not a full application. So what should you do instead? The best advice is actually very simple. Send fewer emails, but make them better. Instead of emailing 100 professors with the same message, spend some time researching a smaller number of professors whose work genuinely aligns with your interests. Read their lab website, look at their recent publications, try to understand the questions their lab is currently exploring. Then write an email that clearly explains 3 things. First, who you are and what your academic background is. Second, what specific part of their research interests you. And third, how your skills or research interests connect with their work. When a professor reads an email that feels personal, informed, and concise, it immediately stands out from the hundreds of generic emails they receive. And that's exactly what increases your chances of getting a response. If you avoid these 3 mistakes, generic emails, not reading the professor's work, and writing overly long messages, you will already be ahead of many other applicants.